Alright, man. Today, what I want to do is I kind of want to go and take you through the progression of my apartment complex, how it came to be, and why I sold it. You know, at the end, it was been more beneficial for me to sell it than to keep it for a number of reasons. But if you got a few minutes, ride with your boy for a minute, man. Like, the apartments was like a game changer for me. I bought it 6 years ago, and I was 34 years old, and I only had owned a house. And it was such an accomplishment because I had set my mind to doing something, and I did something big, you know. Like, to kind of set it up, I had a child, and she was premature, and it was like a miracle that she had made it through. You know, she was born like 1 pound, you know, and we got through all that, and it was so hard, and I wanted to do something amazing that just kind of, that was such a hard time for us, you know, like 6 months of struggle for the family, you know. So I just kind of want to do something amazing because I felt like I had all this energy because I had got through that, you know. So I read 2 books about commercial real estate, and mind you, I only had owned my home at this point, like just my little $150,000 home that I had bought maybe 5-6 years previously. You know, I had no real estate, right? And I read these commercial books, and it was saying that you can go and you can get, you know, millions of dollars of property, you know, with hardly no money down and whatever, right? So I'm like, shit, me too. I'm feeling that good. Like, I mean, I beat this devil and I could beat them some more, you know? So I took that time, next 4 months, and I just read those books. And I mean, I just started implementing, you know, because I was at a point where I was so focused on doing something amazing that that's the only thing I was thinking about, you know. Like, my business was just going okay, but I really wasn't thinking about that. I really just want to do something amazing for my family, you know. I was focused, you know. So within 4 months, you know, I ended up just securing a deal. Like, I called probably 30 realtors, and I had unfazed energy. They were telling me, like, you don't own nothing? I was like, no. It was like, how much you want to spend? I said, $1 million, you know. Like, I hadn't even had $1 million. I had never even seen $1 million though, you know. Like, my house was only worth 125, 35, right? And I said, I'm gonna spend $1 million, and they just like laughing at me. And one guy said, okay, let me see what I got, you know. And at first he laughed at me too, because then that wasn't the first part. You know, I wanted this, you know, a $1 million place that makes a lot of money, you know. And it was like, God, you want a property and you want a ultra cash flowing property? I'm like, yeah, I want all this, you know. I want all this. This is what I want, you know, and I'm gonna get it, you know. And he laughed, whatever. But I kept calling realtors, and 2 months later, that same guy laughed at me. I felt his smirk on the phone when he was like, that's what you want? Okay, you know. He was like, James, you crazy, but I got a deal for you right down the street from your house, right? So fast forward, man, another 6 months of getting rejected by like 20 loan places. Every loan place in the city, you know, rejected me for this $1 million loan for the guy that had not a rental property, you know. But finally, I got one. So it took me 8 months. I bought a property for $1.2 million with no previous experience, man. No previous experience. I bought that property, man. And I remember feeling so accomplished, man. Like, I didn't tell nobody. I didn't do all that stuff. But, I mean, I remember feeling like nothing can stop me in life. Like, I did my study. I did my research. I went through the pain, and I got my reward, right? And I remember just thinking I was on top of the world. And that was the start of my first mistake. Because during that time, I was so high on my own accomplishments that I stopped learning. You know, like, I had got the apartments, but then I just stopped really learning about like what to do with apartments, because I had 24 units, and on a Wednesday, on a Thursday, and on that Wednesday, I didn't know anything about apartments. I don't know about purchasing apartments. I had no idea about running apartments, right? But I just knew that I was gonna be the man, you know, like, because I had already bought it and purchased it. I would know how to run it on the back end. That wasn't the case. That wasn't the case. I struggled with that place for a long time. Almost 3.5 years I struggled terribly, you know. I was running them shitty, you know, because I was trying to do other things. I mean, at this point, I was still riding on that high of life. Like, I could do anything. And it hurt me. you know, because I was trying to diversify because I thought I was all knowing. So I'm doing apartments, selling cars, and it hurt me. It really hurt me because I felt like I stopped learning about apartments the day I bought apartments because I was so full of myself, you know. And it took a long time to, and a lot of conversation with people for me to catch up. Almost 3.5 years. Like the last year and a half of my apartments was the best years I had. The best years I had, you know, because I really had my mind wrapped around it because I had talked to so many of my people and they was like, this is what you should be doing. This is what you should be doing. But for 3 years, I was ignoring that. I knew I was the man. I had bought these apartments, you know, I was still stuck on no money. You know what I'm saying? I built this seed from nothing. It's like 7 figure money, you know, and it blinded me. Right, so that last year it got better. You know, like I actually started going back and learning and getting a mentor about how to run apartments. It took me 3 years to do that. 3 years. So when I got back in, I got it done. You know, and I don't know if you know me, but my apartments was called Bailey's Court, and you know my daughter's name is Bailey, so I bought them in her name. You know, because what I intended to do was get these apartments and then be able to give her these apartments when she was older. You know. Like learn and she have all this real estate and this is my legacy and stuff like that. But I started thinking about it, I'm like, that last year, I don't want to give my child no money. I don't think my legacy is money. You know, like I'm not finna be dropping my kid off no $17 million, which I will have. I'm not. You know, like if anything, they gonna get very, very small seeds. Because I know for a fact you don't appreciate it. You don't appreciate nothing you don't grow. You know, nothing you don't grow. And most times, the actual thing that waters the growth is the work that you put in. The thoughts is what you gotta feed your idea to make it grow. It's not money. Money is the least of your worries. You know. Like you gotta have the thoughts to grow the seed, and then the seed grows, and the experiences that grows, and then you produce something amazing, right? And I didn't know that, man. I didn't know that. So when I sold those apartments, at first I was feeling guilty, but I started thinking about what my real legacy is, and it was easy to sell. My daughter is not gonna want to be running no apartment complex, you know. And from my own experiences, I've seen many people. When apartment complexes get sold, more than likely, it was the owner who died and the kids sold it immediately. They had no cares about that legacy. They just wanted the cash. And they're going to just spend it on some shit that he probably wouldn't have spent his money on. You know? What did they learn? They wasn't involved with it when in the day-to-day operation. They never was involved with it. So when they sold it, they just got some cash. And my old pops is going to be forgotten except when, you know, the day come around on that year. Right? I would rather have those experiences to pass down and that knowledge to help cultivate that mind to really grow something, right? Grow something into something amazing for yourself, right? But yeah, man, so that's really the reason I sold the apartments, man. 'Cause I just didn't feel like it was a good thing for my legacy to pass on. And at this point in life, I've done so much self-work that I have way better options of making money than apartments. Apartments are hard in general, you know. Like I don't know if you've owned a lot of rental property, but if you have, everybody that I know that owns a lot of rental properties, it changes you. It definitely changes you because people are different, and people will lie to their landlord all day, and they will be upstanding at work. They will be successful in life, but they are lying on the back end, and it's making you feel horrible. You can only be lied to so much without changing you. When people lie to you a lot, it affects your mentality. And I definitely was affected, you know. And I wouldn't want to put nobody through that, you know. And my apartments wasn't going to luxury homes, you know. So I definitely got rid of it, and I feel good about it, you know. I feel good about I owned it. I went through that process, and I'm greater for owning them. I'm much greater for owning those properties, right? So that's the reason I sold apartments, man. It was a great accomplishment, but it was an even better learning experience for my own life. I learned so much more about James than I knew, you know, and it's made me so much better for the future. But yeah, man, that's the video. All right.